Hey guys, it's Katie here, and today I'm going to be discussing all things Shadowhunters. So as you probably already know, I am a huge fan of the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. So a couple of years ago, the Mortal Instruments had a film adaptation that did not go well at all. I actually really loved the cast of the movie, probably because Jamie was my Jace before he was even cast in the film. I was a huge fan of Jamie Campbell-Bower, and even the possibility of him being Jace was like amazing. So when he was finally cast, I was really thrilled, and I felt like the only one who was happy, because the minute he was announced as Jace, the fandom went crazy and no one wanted him to play Jace because he wasn't pretty enough, and everyone wanted Alex Pettyfer. Let's not get into that conversation. So I really enjoyed him as Jace, and the rest of the cast I really adored. So I don't actually think that it was the cast that caused the film to be the disaster that it was. I think they just were really unlucky with the script, and because it didn't do well at the box office and we had no news about it, I had made peace with the fact that we weren't going to get another movie. I had made peace with the fact that I wasn't going to see another adaptation. So imagine my surprise when all of a sudden they announced there was going to be a TV show, and that show was going to be called Shadowhunters. My first instinct when I heard about this show was no. I was 100% against the idea of having a TV show from the start. I don't know whether that was because I was so let down by the film, or whether it's the fact that I don't like TV adaptations of books in general. People had this ideal scenario where they'd have one chapter each episode. It doesn't work like that at all for television. It is a whole different ball game to a movie. I also looked at other book to TV adaptations of YA novels. The one that came to mind the most, which I really don't want to have to compare the Mortal Instruments to, is The Vampire Diaries. I don't know how many of you have actually read the Vampire Diaries books and did read them before the TV show, but I can tell you that the show is unrecognisable to the books. The show has a lot of fans all across the world now, and it's been really successful, but for me, I view that as something completely different to the books because it just really is different. But that didn't really bother me that much because I wasn't a huge fan of the Vampire Diaries books in the first place. And then I got bored with the show by the time we got to season 3, and I gave up on it completely last year. I just didn't really want to see the Mortal Instruments going down that route. And then they announced that the show was going to be on ABC Family as well, and I think a few other people as well as me didn't really see that as the right channel for the Mortal Instruments. But I guess we just have to see how it goes. So now on to the casting. So the casting announcement started coming in a few weeks ago, and the first cast member we got was Jace, and he is going to be played by Dominic Sherwood. For those of you who don't know, Dominic played Christian Ozera in the Vampire Academy movie, which was another failed book-to-film adaptation, but I really loved him in Vampire Academy. So at first, when the announcement first came through, as much as I love Dominic, I didn't really see him as Jace at all, and my initial instinct was, what? But then within an hour, basically, I realised I'd already seen him play a moody, sulky, arrogant character in Vampire Academy, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to pull off playing Jace. And he looks like he can play somebody really arrogant and cocky as well. So I think he'll definitely bring that side of Jace out a lot on screen. The next casting announcements that we got was Simon and Izzy, and we got that announcement together. Simon is going to be played by a guy named Alberto Rosendo. I had not heard of him before at all when he was announced, and I don't think any of the other fans had either. We basically know nothing about him, and that was the one thing that I really liked, that he was completely unknown, because I think it's good for TV shows to get in fresh faces. But again, straight away, my initial reaction was, no! I loved Robert Sheehan so much that seeing somebody else as Simon, it was just, no, it was just so heartbreaking. And that first picture that we saw of him, I didn't think he looked like Simon, and I would like to scold myself for judging someone on the first picture I see of them. That was really naughty of me. So initially I didn't really know what to think, but then a couple of hours later the Shadowhunters Twitter account uploaded a video of him wearing glasses and saying how excited he was to play Simon, and the minute I saw that video I felt a lot more relieved because he really did look like Simon. I also noticed that on May the 4th on his Twitter account as well, he was posting Star Wars memes. Yay! So I think he could definitely bring Simon Lewis to life properly. I'm excited to see what he's going to be like on screen. So the actress that's going to be playing Isabelle Lightwood is Emerald Tubia. Again, she's an actress that I have not heard of before. After she was announced, I noticed there was quite a lot of controversy on Twitter with regards to her being a Hispanic actress. I felt extremely sorry for Cassandra Clare because she was receiving the brunt of all these tweets, and it was really unfair of people to just jump on her. I saw a lot of people asking whether Alec and Izzy would both be Hispanic now. I was actually on the Shadowhunter tag on Tumblr the other day, and I saw somebody write a post saying, imagine if Izzy and Alec just started arguing in Spanish in front of Jace, and Jace is standing there like, what? And that made me laugh. I could actually really see that happening. Like I said, I don't know much about her because I'd never heard of her before. She is exceptionally pretty, which Isabelle Lightwood needs to be, obviously. And she looks like she could be really badass if she wants to. I definitely need to see her with Izzy's whip before I can judge whether she's going to be a good Izzy or not. So a couple of days ago we finally got our Clary, and I know quite a few people online had predicted that it would be Kat McNamara, so it wasn't a huge surprise when they announced that she was actually Clary. As much as I loved Lily Collins playing Clary in City of Bones, I admit she did not look how I pictured Clary at all. The minute Kat McNamara was announced, straight away I just loved her as Clary because she looks way more how I pictured Clary than Lily ever did. I did see quite a lot of negativity online about Kat playing Clary. People are saying that she had an annoying voice and that she wasn't a very good actress. I think that's really unfair to judge someone on their voice. Kat's voice does not affect her ability to act as Clary. And for the people that are saying that she can't act, you don't know how she's gonna act the part of Clary until you actually see her play Clary. But so far for me, I think she's the one that looks the most accurate to her character. I'm excited about her. I think she's got good potential, so I can't wait to see what she brings to the show. Now, after those 4 casting announcements, I was going to make a video, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we got our Alec and Luke. I was in no way prepared to get Alec and Luke this quickly. I thought after Clary we were gonna have like maybe a week's break before we got another cast member. I was just watching something on TV and randomly checked Twitter on my phone, and I saw loads of fans getting really excited on my timeline, and I was like, what's going on? So I checked the Shadowhunters Twitter account and saw that they had confirmed we'd be getting Alec and Luke today, and I was like, wait, what? What you have to understand is that Alec is one of my favourite characters in this entire series. So for me, I was really worried about Alec's casting more than any of the other characters that had already been announced. And then he was announced, and the actor playing Alec is Matthew Daddario. And straight away, when I first saw a picture of him, I was like, yes! He just looked so cute, and he looks like he can be related to Emerald. They definitely look like they could pull off being siblings. Straight away, online, I saw a huge backlash about his eye colour. As much as I love Alec having blue eyes in the books because it's a thing between him and Magnus, I personally wouldn't want to sacrifice an accurate portrayal of Alec just for the sake of eye colour. It's not the be-all and end-all for me. Obviously it's great when they do have their eye colour, but if they don't, I just want them to act out the part well. What I really loved after Matthew's casting was announced is Cassie's Tumblr post that she made. I don't know whether you've seen it or not, but she did actually say that Matthew originally auditioned for the part of Jace. When Cassie saw his video, she immediately said that he would be a better fit for Alec. So he came back and auditioned for Alec and everyone loved him and he got the part. I felt immediately relieved when I read that because I trust Cassie's judgment. If she picked him out specifically for Alec, then I trust her opinions. She must have had a reason for saying that he would be a good Alec. She must have seen that in him even when he was auditioning for Jace. So we have to trust in her, but I need to see his character written properly. I need at the start to see him vulnerable and nervous. He's not as confident as Jace. He's got quite low self-esteem at first. I really don't want them to change his character too much from the way he is in the book. That, to me, is a more concerning factor than the way he looks. I just can't wait to see my little baby played out on screen. All we need now is to find him the right Magnus. And so finally we have our Luke, and he's being played by Isaiah Mustafa. So I'm pretty sure you all recognise Isaiah because he is Old Spice guy. And straight away, because I didn't recognise his name, so I googled him just after the announcement and the Old Spice commercial came up and I was like, wait, what? How amazing is that? We have Old Spice guy in our show. It's awesome. And I don't know why, but just straight away I was extremely happy with his casting. I could definitely see him playing Luke. I saw some pretty harsh comments on Twitter about his casting. We all have our own versions of characters when we picture them in our minds, but the amount of racist comments that Cassie was receiving because of his casting was unbelievable. If you don't agree that that person looks like the character, that's fine, that's your opinion, but there is no need to be racist about it. Racism is never okay. And I would also like to point out that at no point in the books at all does it ever mention that Luke is white. It mentions other characters' races, sure, but with Luke, it never says that he is white in the book. So that is just something that you are assuming. I think also that one of the main changes in the show is that Luke isn't a bookstore owner like he is in the series. He is actually a New York cop. So if they are doing that, then I completely understand their casting choices. He definitely does look like he can pull off playing a New York cop. So I think they've picked the right person for the Luke that they're creating for the show. And I'm just never going to be over the fact that he's Old Spice guy. That's just, it's amazing. Whilst we're on the subject of changes for the show from the books, I know that there were a lot of wild rumours flying around on Twitter and Tumblr about early versions of the script of the show. I know quite a few fan sites wrote open letters, and at first I honestly didn't believe any of them. I thought it was just wild rumour, but now I am seeing a lot more of what they have said in their open letters to be true, because one of them did mention that in the script Luke was being changed to a New York cop, and last night after we got the casting we got a character profile for him and they did confirm that he was going to be a member of the New York Police Department. So if that rumour is right, then I think we can probably predict that some of the other wild rumours were right as well. And I must admit, some of those changes I really didn't agree with at all. I think that one of the rumours said that the characters already knew Magnus and that he already had some form of relationship with Alec in the past. I really hope that that one isn't true because I exceptionally like the scene where they first meet Magnus. But this is just one rumour that has turned out to be true. We don't know yet. We won't know until we see the show. So I will probably make another video when they announce Magnus because I've been waiting for Magnus from the start. Magnus Bane is one of my favourite fictional characters of all time. Because I've been at home and in front of my laptop when all the other casting announcements have been made, I just have this horrible feeling that I'm going to be out whilst they announce Magnus. I think another casting that we can really look forward to with this show is Valentine. They made Valentine this really weird piratey character with braids, and it just was not the Valentine we have in the books. He's supposed to be wearing a suit and he's supposed to be intelligent and charming, and that's what's intimidating about him, and he just wasn't intimidating in the film at all. So for the show we finally get the chance to have the Valentine that we pictured in the books, and I am really looking forward to who they cast as him. Also, we've still got Jocelyn to look forward to, and I think as well Raphael is going to be in the show, which he was completely cut from the movie, so it's going to be really exciting. So I will definitely make another video with more casting as they come through. Just one final thing before I finish this video. I think Shadowhunters has great potential. Whether it will live up to that or not, I don't know. But the one thing I think they could really do with this that could definitely be a huge positive is tie in the infernal devices to the show. Again, I hate comparing it to the Vampire Diaries, but it's the only example that I can think of. The only part of the Vampire Diaries that I actually really enjoyed was when they would go back in time and see the characters in different time periods. And I think that Shadowhunters can definitely take note of that and do the same thing. And go back to visit Will and Tessa and introduce them into the show through flashbacks. I think especially that is important with Magnus as well. I think to give people the idea of what kind of character he is and how long he's been alive, I think it'd be great to do flashbacks to his life previously. And also I think flashbacks to the Circle, Valentine's plotting and how he managed to charm Valentine. How Valentine managed to charm Valentine? Are you serious right now? Jocelyn. How Valentine managed to charm Jocelyn and his whole friendship with Luke. I think to do flashbacks to both of those things would be really, really great. So that is the one thing I am hoping Shadowhunters will deliver. Whilst being a huge fan of the Mortal Instruments, I am gonna keep up with the show and follow what happens. I'll probably end up hating half of this show, but I'm still going to be involved with it anyway, because I am Mortal Instruments trash. I really am. I can't get enough of Mortal Instruments. There might be a few changes in the show that we actually really, really love. You don't know that, so we'll see, I guess. So, what are your thoughts? Do you like the cast so far? What are your hopes for this show? What would you really like to see? Let me know all the things. Do please leave your comments below, or I'll leave a link to my Twitter if you want to tweet me. I tweet about Mortal Instruments a lot. So thank you for watching. Like I said, I will be keeping up to date with all things Shadowhunters, and I will see you after Magnus has been cast. Bye!